I mean, literally, we would believe to some degree that that's almost like genocide.
Yep.
To us, I mean, that's really what it is that we have genocide on our soil. And so the question is, why should the conservative or the pro-lifer, why should they open up to somebody like Giuliani in order to have a broader tent?
Well, I think that there's effectively two ways that someone can approach finding compromise on abortion, and I think that they're probably equally important. I think the first one is to accept that everyone has to accept this, that Roe v. Wade is the precedent in the Supreme Court, and unless there's a Supreme Court ruling or a constitutional amendment that changes that, that's going to be like that forever. Now, Giuliani might say that he's going to appoint strict constructionist judges and that somehow they're going to change that, but there's a whole protocol that the justices have to go through before they can change how Roe v. Wade is going to be decided in future precedent, and that's just the facts on the table. So, keeping that in mind, what can we do together? Because I think most of us, whether we be Republicans or Democrats, don't like seeing abortion as a solution. None of us like that. All of us would like to prevent that from anyone having to go through the anguish of making that choice, because it is not a choice that we want anyone to have to make.
Yes.
So can we, as a society and as a government and as a people that work together, come up with a way to end this large number of abortions, not large, but end this number of abortions that go on in this country?
It's about 1.8 million.
1.8 million? Okay, I wasn't sure what the number was.
It's about 1.8.
That to me is too high. I think any number is too high.
Yeah, of course.
And so what can we do to stop that? Well, we can fund more comprehensive sex education for our children. It doesn't just mean telling them that it's okay to have sex when you're underage, because we shouldn't necessarily be saying that to our kids as a state or as a society. But we should say that there are consequences to having sex at a young age. And I think that that's one approach. Another approach is going to be to be possibly providing contraceptives to people. And this is not something that I know that everyone would be on board with, but I think a lot of people would be. You can have all the education you want. I mean, somebody could be fully educated on something, and still do a lot of bad things. I mean, there are a lot of brilliant people sniffing stuff up their nose, but they know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that a broader education, teaching our kids even more. I mean, they know if I have sex, I can get pregnant. They know, wow, if I don't wear a condom, that's probably likely I'm going to get pregnant. If I don't have birth control, which even places like Harbor Creek, over in Battle Creek now, provides it. And so the thing is, and most schools provide condoms anyways. So the thing is, it's all there. I mean, they have it. It's a matter of the fact that they don't want to.
Well,
that's really what it is. So I don't think
surprised. You would be surprised, and I don't have the statistics to back this up, but you would be surprised at the number of people that become pregnant and don't really understand the exact mechanics of how that happened. You would be surprised at the number of people that do come up with that. And
I would be.
And
if there was a big number, I'd be absolutely.
I don't know the number. I have heard that.
That. When do you believe personhood begins? I know you don't believe it's a conception, because I know you support embryonic stem cell research.
Mm-hmm.
When is it no longer? When does it become a life?
That's such a difficult question, and I am not a theologian, and I'm also not a scientist.
But you want to be a lawyer.
Sure.
And we're talking about law, because ultimately we're dealing with murder. So the Supreme Court was sly and didn't define it. And this is the interesting thing. I mean, and they knew what they were doing by not defining it. But the thing is when we're dealing with, if we don't define when life is, I don't care if you say it's the third month, I don't say if it's the fifth month, whatever it is, we have to define it, or else we don't know if we're murdering something. We don't know if we're taking something that has a right to live.
I don't pretend to have the answers on that,
okay.
and I will readily admit that I'm probably not the person. But
you mentioned comprehensive sex education. That's really where all this was going for me. Is that I agree 100% that we need comprehensive sex education. But as long as we believe that it's okay to take a life, I believe that children should be shown I believe that because if it's not murder, we show very, very private things. We show women having babies. We show C-sections. We show people getting enemas. I mean, we show everything. We got medical channels that are dedicated to it. We watch CSI where you see bullets going through people's brains. So if we don't believe that it's a life, and if we believe that it's nothing more than just flesh, and, maybe not even blood at that point, then we should be willing to show any kind of abortion procedure to children, because it would be no different. It would be to me. I don't think that there is a such thing as comprehensive sex education without showing that, because that's ultimately part of it. They talk about it. They say it's a possibility. We could go and have abortion, whatever, and they talk about it as a possibility, but they don't show the children. And there's a reason why. There's a reason why you can't show it on TV. There's a reason why London tried doing it over in England. They tried doing it. It was an outcry. And there's a reason why, and I think that if people were honest with themselves deep down inside, I think they would understand why. But would you agree that if, and I'm only this is only
well, you said there was a reason why, and I'm interested in hearing this.
Because in my humble opinion, okay, it is my firm conviction that these people know that it's a life. They know.
And they're just denying that to themselves?
Oh, no. I don't. Well, I think self-deceit is quite easy. But I think that really, when you're dealing with young children, that's why I asked about the emotional aspect. Why is it so emotional? I mean, it's like getting, I don't start weeping and crying when I get my appendix taken out. I mean,
right.
Yeah, I might be scared, of the procedure. If I get my tonsils taken out, it's kind of like, wow, I get to get off for school for a couple of days. But for some reason, this is a lot different.
Well, even if someone doesn't think that it's a life, there's absolutely no one in any field that would tell you that it's not going to become one. It couldn't become a human being. It couldn't, if we let it go, walk around and do everything that humans do. And so I think that's why, that's one reason why in particular it is an emotional decision. And I think that it's better for everyone in society if we didn't have to make that decision. I think it's better.
I completely agree with it. And so here would be my question. And it's based on just a big if, okay? And you admitted already that you didn't have an answer for it, which I applaud you for doing, because I think it's wrong when people just pull answers out of thin air and they really don't believe what they're saying. So I think that was a good thing. But if people believed that is not life, that is not a person, that it has no more personhood than tonsils, do you believe that whether it be pictures, videos, or field trip should be included into comprehensive, and the big word is comprehensive, sex education?
Well, you're putting me in a little bit of a corner here, and I will admit that I have not done the research necessary to present my comprehensive sex education plan.
Okay.
I haven't talked to the people, this is just one of the nascent part of my idea here. But no, I don't think that I would include that in it, because I don't think that even though our society promotes showing incredibly violent images or other images that people would I think parents would not want to show their children, I don't think that we should encourage that any more than any other part of our society does.
Yeah, and I would agree, but I would say that the reason why isn't just because society. I wouldn't leave it at the foot of, well, because society doesn't feel comfortable. I would then ask that very important question to make that no longer an arbitrary decision, to sit there and say, why do they feel uncomfortable?